Yes, shalom. And this is your Wyndham Raz Baruchu Teferi. Continuing on redemption or repatriation, really reparations in that sense. But first before we go into what we saw as far as concerning redemption. Now, if you look at the whole thing, we had the situation where the disease and the stuff came in the air, and they like really like sensitive about it. Now, if we had to say so ourselves, doesn't looking at the pandemic, it's over exaggerated. I'm sure that seemingly it seems over exaggerated, and then on the other hand, you have a real situation that could be critical for some people. So you have a weighing of both, though you really can't tell because things were not handled correctly as a system. And, it's not necessarily like, let us say, we want to point one finger. Now, when we look at the Pharaoh, we look at the king of Egypt or the king of USA. The king of even if you say the president of the United States, right? You would have to petition him properly for the victuals that we need to serve our God in the wilderness. And it's a very high possibility that Israel, black Israel, is into their like last 6 years, and then the last three may be those last 3 years before that last day of atonement, where the Lord already told us that when we show up in our land on the day of atonement, we cannot show up empty handed. So if you look at this process, the way we're going in the USA, really down pressed and in the impoverished situation, we still haven't got the redemption from the 400 years of being entreated evil. Remember that we were told, as it was said in Acts chapter 7, in Genesis, in Genesis, well, let's go to that verse if we can get it right here, right? Genesis 15 and 14, and also that nation whom they shall serve, right? Now, this was said that this nation will entreat them evil for 400 years in Acts chapter 7. So we know that black people coming from the time of what they call slavery, coming from redemption and reparations, and also people out there, if you ever never heard of the Gala or the Geechee, some of the black original Native American tribes that fought for freedom in this country in like the 1600s, and were able to establish a settlement of land all the way from Florida all the way to Mexico. I mean, like almost the northern part to the middle part of Mexico. You know what I mean? So those of us with the modern day education, because you got to remember that the United States school educational system, they lie about history. So much of it doesn't tell an honest truth about history. In fact, the things that the black children are learning, the less that they learn about Israel, it seems that the more God brings a judgment on this country. So the more that Israel is down pressed, the real Israel, the Lion of Judah society, black Israel, you say redemption, repatriation, us petitioning the government or the Pharaoh for what we need so that we can serve our God in the wilderness. Instead of a repeating in the United States, the wilderness generation, we have a lot of the older black peoples and everything. They like to a lot of people like to put us in the say, oh, they're all Democrats or they're all one party, when really we're representatives of neither. We're representatives as the children of Ha Elohim, of the Lion of Judah society, the King of Kings, more Ambessazim and the Geta Yehuda, Judah, the King of Kings, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, Gedamawi Haile Selassie, the King of Kings of Ethiopia. So in that sense, we be like Ethiopian Hebrew diplomats. That's what we are here on your land, even though you might want to try to deny that. You want to call us all these other names. And because of you have an older generation that might want to go along with that think they're voting and all these other things for whatever kind of position that they think they might see in it, voting for certain presidents or certain people thinking that they're going to change. The only thing that you can tell them, and it doesn't matter, whoever it is in power, is to redeem Israel. Redeem Israel. Now, being that coming over here to the judgment, you already told about your judgment, USA, about the way you handling these people. Now, because you have them that want to stay lost, one's like, I don't want to stay lost. Though when I go back out into the world, they want to treat you with the same kind of oppression. They want to upgrade the oppression that they do to the blacks. That's really what this whole game is about. That's why they want you to vote for one of these guys. It doesn't even matter in that sense. They just want to continue a continuous oppression that they've been doing for 400 years. These lying about history, keep our children down, keep us degraded. And now there's already a judgment in place. So even if you were to say that this whole disease thing being in the air or whatever, wearing these masks and all this other craziness, right? Even if you were to say that whether it's real or it's fake, it's probably both. It's probably both. We just have to determine what areas are more real and what's not. We already know that the media is paid to lie and to, circulate lies. But then also some parts of that is truth. Some parts of that may be true, though we can't really identify with that. We can't really say, oh, it's fake, and then we can't say it's real, really. We have to kind of, watch and wait what the Almighty will do with the situation. All we do know is it is seemingly to be a sign of the end here. We had 2012 has been 400 years, 400-year captivity, right? It says that your people will be treated evil for 400 years. And here in Genesis 15:14, by the Amorite, by the Americans. And then it goes, Asher won't save you. So we know that the black people who got involved with the system or who got too caught up into it mentally, thinking that voting for the wrong thing or going to vote, period. Want to go to vote without knowing what to vote for. Somebody was already saying, it was a young brother, he made the rap song, and we had to go get the brother's information and everything like that about how you go and vote for the presidents, but none of them make any of the local laws and many of the things you have to worry about, the wages on jobs and things like that you really have to worry about, that do down press and keep these people down pressed and oppressed. This is true. These are facts. So the only way that Israel is really going to come out, apparently, because it's obvious that this nation is not going to stop down pressing black people. They're not. They're just not going to do it. You know what I mean? And the older elder generation, instead of seeing that we are black Israel, we're ready to come out. We're ready to get our victual. We're ready to ask for our redemption. What is known is what they're saying is called reparation. But it's really redeeming the time in our King of Kings, Kedamali Haile Selassie, recognizing who we are as a nation and how we, from there, direct our diplomacy. It's all about our diplomacy as black Israel with the United States. Not that we are Americans. We're not trying to get involved even deeper into hell and debt and all these things that they are already doing to us. We're already harmed already. We're already down. That's why you have the rioters, the people that, young brothers, they get confused and they go out there with the rioters because they're already oppressed. They're already down pressed. It's already been enough. How much more? They talk about electing one of these guys, man. And then you have a situation, nobody never even said nothing about the 3 strikes completely ruined black men over here in USA, the 3 strikes law that was passed during the time of the Clintons, right? And then coming up in the time of when Obama was in office, they said there was much work that they threw on Mitt Romney's death. Now, the only thing I fought them, or maybe it might be true, but what I fought them about, why don't you tell us that at the time? They were fighting for like homosexual rights like crazy. And George Floyd, when he comes around, he gets murdered, or whatever. He gets murdered, he gets killed, he gets basically smothered to death, and nobody did pretty much nothing, right? Watch the man die, and then of course other people have been murdered and killed, and for whatever weird witchcraft kind of reason, they used this whole BLM thing, and then they took it and went and got LGBTQ rights. So really, those people got rights over a black death. So LGBTQ got rights over a black man's death. That's the truth right there. That's the truth. They use you, he died, and the rest of the race got nothing. We done got nothing here in the United States. No redemption, no reparation. When this whole disease came out, all these people impoverished, they was running back out to these, and this little $1,200, that ain't ish. That's nothing. Nothing. You got people in poverty sleeping on the street. Homeless. Look at the homeless in your country. And you're over here playing games. Go over here playing games. This is Black Israel's redemption from the King of Kings, Gedamawi, Haile Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, from the line of Judah society. And your judgment is already in place. The judgment for this nation is already in place. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. So y'all got to get judged for. We got to watch this country get judged. So who therefore survive these years, and those who are for us and not against us, we watch this country get judged and see if one of these presidents is going to give us reparations, so-called, really redemptions, the victuals, and all the things that we need because being oppressed since the time of slavery, that we can take our belongings and go and serve our God in the wilderness. Instead of putting us back on this virtual, giving us this fake education, and you see our people are depleting. Look at them every day. Something's happening. You know, if they're not being murdered by each other, they're being murdered definitely by the system. The system is doing something to try to re-update these racial statuses because you don't want to be Black Israel. Yes, it's infuriating sometimes. Sometimes we got to yell this in your ear to make sure that you get it, that you understand. You know, so let's continue this. What is really redemption? What is really reparation? You know, what is really reparation? Is it Trump? Is it Biden? It's neither one. It ain't neither one. It's you, Black Israel. It's you letting these people know you are Israel and you need your redemption. You need to be redeemed. You need your victuals. You need the things that belong to you so that you can serve your God in the wilderness, so that we can go home on the Day of Atonement, back to Ethiopia, Africa, prepare that for 3 years, the last 3 years, right? Because these 3 years going to be hell because you're still going to ask for the wrong thing. I know this video going to go unheeded. So you probably won't wake up to these videos till about after this 3 years of hell that you about to go through, because they're trying to re-implement Babylon. They want to like pick it back up. But you remember what it says about Edom. Remember what it says about Edom? Because Israel, he came to you with his hand and you rend his whole arm. He's like, yo, man, I need your help. I'm down right here. And you're like, yeah, I'll help you out, and breaks your arm, breaks your effing arm. You know what I'm saying? Will break your arm off, rend his whole arm all the way to his shoulder, broke his shoulder blade, took his shoulder blade out. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna help you. And that's what it feels like in the USA as a Black man. You know, so I ask for help. That's what you get. You get your whole shoulder rent. Now, let me take it out. Let me pull it out. Let me break it. You know, let's implement a harder labor force, just like they did in the Exodus. Let's not pay nothing. Let's not give people, you know, whatever. That's why I say most people probably think the thing is not real, because the stimulus was nothing, and they didn't even want to send that out. They were supposed to be trying to save people's lives. So what is it? It's real, but yet you kept people out there to kill them. No, don't try to blame that guy. Don't try to blame the one guy. All of y'all are involved. You Dixiecrat, Democrat. You always say Black people are Democrats, right? But what have y'all done? What have y'all done? You people in turmoil, all in the wasteland. The America's a wasteland, like a third world country. You seen the places you people living out here? Have you seen the situation? What the fuck? What y'all done for your people? You done nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right? We've been harmed out here, and we still going through this down oppression and these end time. Remember, you are Black Israel. Your reparation is redemption to the Almighty Yahweh. Jah Rastafari is the King of Kings of the world, the conquering line in the tribe of Judah. And don't you ever forget that. And this is only beginning. Amen.